welcome back to another wonderful, fantastic episode of the Towing the Line podcast with me, Anthony, as your guide, your host, your wonderful personality. Um, Last week, over the past week, this week's been pretty cruisy for me, training wise. After telling my coach that I was pulling out of Sunshine, I was like, we kind of agreed that this week would be a good opportunity to kind of reset things, take a nice chill week, and then just kind of build. I mentioned I want to build my bike strength up a bit. So that's what we're going to do from next week. This week was pretty cruisy, nothing too strenuous. Yes, I still trained, did some strength stuff, but nothing to break the bank, thankfully. I got a blood test the week before and got my results back on Monday, and to my surprise, they were fine. No issues at all. So yeah, I was a bit worried because you know how they say, like, vegans, you're fucking deficient in B12, you're deficient in iron, you're deficient in everything basically. I was worried that I was going to be deficient in all those things, and turns out I wasn't, so I was fucking pumped with that. Not that I expected anything less, but it was nice to not be deficient. Like, that's always nice. It's always a pleasure. So I was pumped with that. What else happened this week? If I flash back to the start of the week. So at the start of the week in Melbourne, we were still in lockdown as of Monday, and we were supposed to come out Tuesday evening, which we did. But as of Monday, it was like, oh, here we go. We're going to be locked in here for another fucking 3 weeks or another, however long. And thankfully we weren't, which was good. So yeah, that was a good way to start the week. Then I got to hit three strength sessions this week, which was fucking fantastic. I haven't done that in a very long time. It was nice. Actually hit deads with my boy, Dr. Fat, on Monday. Then squats on Wednesday, and then some upper body yesterday, which far out. I was very sore from all of those sessions. My fucking chest and back is sore from yesterday, obviously, and my legs are still cooked from fucking Wednesday. I did 6 by 90. I think I built up to a heavy 5 or 6 rep squat, and then they just blew my quads out. Like yesterday, I couldn't get up or sit down without grunting like an old man. So that's always fun. Yesterday morning, I did a bit of bench on Monday, I think. Yeah, did a little bit of bench on Monday, and then yesterday I was like, I tried to, like last week I was hitting 70 kilos by 10 reps, no problem. And then yesterday morning, I was struggling with 5, so I don't know what's going on there, getting a bit weak, but still pumped out a ripper session, which is good. I finished with a 5-minute. No, I was gonna do 5 minutes, and I was like, nah, that's gonna suck. So I made it like I had to accumulate a total of 4 minutes of a farmer's carry with my 240 kilo kettlebells, and that was very difficult. By the end of it, your grip's blowing up, and you're just like, I don't want to stop and have to wait even longer, because every time I stopped, I made sure I did 10 push-ups. So I was like, I don't want to stop again. Just fucking tough it out. So that was good. A bit sore from that as well. But other than that, I didn't do much exciting training in terms of my tri stuff. I swam once, which was good. I wasn't supposed to swim until next week. I'm not supposed to start back swimming till then. But I was like, I'm going to go in and swim just so that I get that little bit in before I start properly. So yeah, my next swim's Monday, where I got to swim about 3K. So yeah, otherwise, anything else interesting happen? No, just some trainer sets that sucked. The usual, the blood tests. I did come up with a concept on one of my runs earlier in the week about the New Year's reflection, how I think. So my opinion on the New Year's resolution is, I fucking hate it. I just reckon it's stupid. I reckon so many people come out with outlandish things that they're never going to stick to, never achieve. And there's like, it's just, you set yourself this bar that's just ridiculously high, and you don't, like you're never going to achieve it. You set the bar too high, you don't achieve it, you feel shit, and then it's just like, what's the fucking point? You make yourself feel worse than you did before. So I don't like the New Year's resolution. Unless you do it properly, it doesn't work. I think it's stupid. So my idea of the New Year's reflection, where you look back on the year that has just gone and you see how far you've come as a person and what you've achieved, what you haven't achieved, where did you want to be and where you actually are, whether you're ahead of that, behind that, whatever. It just gives you the opportunity to assess yourself and then reevaluate for where you want to go in the year that's coming. And I think that's way more efficient than setting these ridiculously high bars and then not achieving them. So that's my concept, or my my idea for generations to come. I heard this. I was listening to a podcast. I cannot remember where it was or what it was. Maybe it was. I reckon it was the Workaholics guys. So this is important. And if you haven't seen Workaholics, watch it. It's fucking hilarious. So on their podcast, this is important. They were talking about something and they used the term snack vampire. And I thought that was fucking hilarious. And I think it was in the context, I should have written down what the context was, but I think it was in the context of like someone who just goes around fucking stealing food off other people or eating all the snacks. So at a party, just say there's a bunch of different snacks. They're like, eating more than they should in comparison to everyone else. But I thought that was very funny. So snack vampire is something I'm going to use in the future to call people out when they're having too many snacks. A bit of a snack vampire, eh? I also listen to, so Matt Fraser does a podcast with Josh Bridges and Sevan, who's it used to do the film, used to do behind the scenes at the games before he got sacked. Anyway, he had this, I recorded it. It was this audio snippet of him. But what was it? I'm trying to read, sorry. Just give me 2 seconds. He was basically saying that, so the context was they were talking about going into the games and how there are events that they're good at and there are events that they're not good at, and how the difference, like how it feels approaching each of those events. And he would say, it took me a while to realize, but the events that I was good at, I would go in thinking I'm going to win. This is my wheelhouse. I'm going to crush this. And then as soon as he would start and the lactic acid would kick in and the pain would start, he would be like, oh my God, what the fuck? I thought this was supposed to be my event. I thought I was supposed to win. And the point he made was, just because it's in your wheelhouse or just because it's something you're good at doesn't mean you don't have to hurt in order to win. He might have been great and he might have won for everyone, but he still had to suffer in order to win. I think that's a good concept. That applies to everyone. Just because something's in your wheelhouse or just because you're good at something or someone else is good at something doesn't mean it's not hard for them to do. They still have to hurt. Like those guys that are running the sub 2 hour or the 2 hour marathons, or more recently, the Olympics running like a 27-minute 10K. Yeah, just because they're good at running doesn't mean that it's easy for them. That fucking sucks. I can go out and run my fastest 10K tomorrow and I guarantee you I'm in just as much, if not more pain than they are running their 10K. Probably not as much. Probably not nowhere near as much pain as they are because they're fucking sending it to win a gold medal. So just because you're good at something doesn't mean it is easier for you, or doesn't mean it's easier for someone than if they're not good at it. Anyway, I just thought it was a fucking super, super, super cool point of view on it. Yeah. What else did I do? I started that. So I finally, on Wednesday, I got actually got all of the components to do that sleep concoction that I was talking about on last week's episode or the week before. The apigenin, the L-theanine, and the magnesium threonate. I got all 3 components and I've had it for the past 3 or 4 days. I'm going to use my Whoop to track it. I'm going to register it as a magnesium supplement. But yeah, the first night I took it, what I did notice was before I fell asleep, I was real wired. My brain was kind of going all over the place. But once I got to sleep, I actually fucking had a great sleep. I woke up like before my alarm. My alarm goes off at like 10 to 4. I woke up before it and I was aware of the fact that I was awake before it. And I was like, oh, I actually feel pretty good. So I, woke up. I waited for my alarm and then I got up and went and trained. And I was like, fuck, like I actually felt I had about 7 hours sleep. I felt fantastic. And the same the night after and the same last night too. Had about 7 hours sleep, woke up, and I was like, lately I've been hitting a snooze a bit, but no, woke up. I think I snoozed once, and then I was ready to fucking go. And yeah, so I'll monitor my Whoop and see if that picks up any increases in recovery and stuff. But in terms of feel, it could be placebo, who knows? But in terms of feel, it feels like it's improving my sleep. So if you're looking to get those supplements, then let me know. But I think I was talking to Patrick and we found them on eBay. I think they're all on sale for eBay. So if you Google the theanine is a bit sketchy. It comes in like a little paper bag from India, but it's sealed properly. Don't worry. Comes in because it's hard to get the actual extract because it comes out of chamomile tea, and it's hard to actually get theanine as a pure extract. Whereas the only place to buy it was from India. So that was a bit sketchy, but everything else is, comes in normal fucking pill form. So yeah, just fucking chuck it in eBay and have a little suss. Pretty sure they got some good deals going on at the moment. I was listening to before I go any further, I am going to touch on what I teased last week. I'm just, lubricating the wheels, easing into this. It'll be full on. I don't know. I'm not prepared. Haven't really prepared to talk about it, but getting it out there is the big thing. I also forgot to fucking ask for people to ask questions. So I don't think I post. Fucking hell. I'm so all over the place. I was supposed to post something teasing this week's episode, but I haven't done that. So anyway, I'm remembering all these things live. So I'm going to have to ask myself some questions later, and then I will, after I, speak about what I got to speak about. Anyway, where I was going with this was I was listening to a podcast today I was listening to Joe Rogan's podcast while I was riding. Oh, I didn't mention that. I rode this morning as well. The fucking headwind, bro. Holy shit. The headwind when did I run? Would have been Wednesday. I think I ran on Wednesday. The headwind on Wednesday was fucked as well. Or Thursday it might have been. I can't remember. But it was ridiculous while running. And then this morning it was gnarly as too. I took my road bike out and I didn't have the power meter pedals on because I got Garmin power meter pedals and that's how I monitor my power. And I didn't swap them onto my roadie and I rode with that. And I wish I had them on there because it would have obviously shown like speed's not a good accurate representation of how hard you're working into a headwind. So I wish I had my power meter pedals on so I could actually get a good gauge of how much more difficult it was with the wind as opposed to normally. Anyway, I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast with Tom Pappas, I think. It's his most recent one. It was good. They were talking about, so the point I'm making at the moment is they were going through watching videos, which I couldn't see, thankfully, of like goannas and like monitor lizards. Janus Pappas, that's it, Janus Pappas. They were going through watching videos of like goannas eating fucking like animals alive, and it was from what they were describing. Thankfully, again, they didn't actually play the videos and I couldn't hear them or see them because I was riding, obviously. They were describing them and I was like, fuck that. And then they made a good comment of saying like Joe said, he's like, we are so fucking weak. And it's so true. We are just, when you watch videos, like I follow Nature is Metal and a couple of other nature pages, and it just like it opens your eyes to the fact that we live in this fucking fantasy world. We're in this little bubble of protected, we're protected. We're so protected from the reality of nature. Like out there, man, you watch fucking it's survive or die. They're your two options. And like you watch deer or gazelles or whatever, stave off lions and stuff like that, and they're walking around with half a fucking leg hanging off, but they're still just cruising around like nothing's bothering them because they can't show pain, they can't show weakness because that'll mean they're going to be targeted. So they're just got half a fucking leg missing and they're walking around like it's nothing. Whereas in our society, fuck, it doesn't take a lot to make someone break down or kick up a fuss. It doesn't take a lot at all. You can just think it's ridiculous. Like, people get so fucking cut and annoyed over such small things these days, whereas you look at the nature world and it's like they don't have time. They wouldn't have time to deal with this shit if you got something chasing you that's going to kill you. Like, you could literally be like, oh, I'm thirsty, I'm going to go have a drink. You go have a drink and then a fucking alligator just rips your face off. How fucked up is that? We don't have that. We just get a drink from a tap of water. That's it. Whereas in there, fuck, mate, you don't have a chance to relax properly. That's why they're so elite, I suppose. That's why animals are so elite, because they don't have a choice. They have to adapt or die. But yeah, whenever I start thinking of the natural world and nature and stuff like that, to me it just opens my eyes to how small, or how not insignificant. That's when I think of space, but how fucking soft we are, and how everyone could benefit from going out and doing some form of rough physical activity to train that mindset of yours. And I guess trains like one of my earlier podcasts, just teach yourself how to deal with challenge and hard situations, because we don't really face any in our everyday life. It's not something that we have to face often, which is a downside. We need to face challenge, we need to face hardship, because it builds us as who we are. Alright, so I'm going to dive into this. This is just a bit of a warning. If you're triggered by any talks of eating disorders and stuff like that, just don't listen. Don't do it to yourself, because you don't need to. Alright? Just having a sip of water, relax. I'm back. The sun is shining directly into my eyeballs and it's really hurting me. I'm just doing this with my eyes shut right now. Anyway, yeah, so if you're triggered by people talking about eating disorders and stuff, don't listen. Don't do it to yourself, because you don't need to. Anyway, so like I touched on last week, I struggled with a bit of an eating disorder between the years of I think it was roughly 2014 to mid 2019. I didn't stop until I stopped just before, so I made the call to change everything just before I went vegan completely. So I probably stopped in June, July of 2019, and then I went vegan in October. So it was around that timeline. Anyway, so basically in 2014, I don't know what started it. I think it was because I was drinking a bit of alcohol, and you know when you drink and you eat shit food at the same time, and then you drink too much, so you throw up your food, and then it's you throw up your alcohol as well, and then you're like, great, I can drink more. It stemmed from that, and then I kind of connected the dots and was like, hey, if I eat shit food and then I throw it up, then it's like I haven't really eaten it, is it? And then so it started as something that was, when I was drinking or when I was drunk, it'd be like, I can eat whatever the fuck I want because I'm just going to drink a shitload tonight and then throw it up. And it's not going to matter because it's going to be on the floor, not in my stomach. And it stemmed from that. And it was something that, I kind of did when I was drinking. And then what happened was it kind of developed into what I saw at the time as a kind of a guilt-free way of being able to eat, binge eat shit food, and then not have to feel guilty for it because it wouldn't be still in me. I'd throw it up. So it was I think the technical term for it is bulimia. That's what I struggled with for 5 years, something like that. There was a 6-month period where I didn't struggle with it. I don't know why. I think I just stopped. And then I was like, I think I'd made the call. I was like, no, I'm going to stop. And then something happened, and then I you know, sorry, it came back. I think it was brought on by like real stressful situations, or like real, like, yeah, just not pleasant situations, and that kind of used to trigger it for me. So yeah, for those 5 years I spent the time, like it'd be almost like a reward for myself. I would, train this. I don't think it was in conjunction with my training until a little bit later on, but it would be like, all right, I train hard, whatever. You get to go home, like you get to go home tonight, and you get to eat fucking, I'd eat a stupid amount of shit. Like I'd buy a bunch of fucking cookies, I'd dip them in milk, I'd eat them, I'd drink, eat bowls of cereal, eat that too, fucking ice cream, whatever, and then I would just, make myself throw up and get rid of all of it, and it would be like, cool, all right, that's it, and then I would like go to sleep or have a little meal, have a little bit of food, anything substantial, and then just go to sleep. And then the next day, like I wouldn't do it. Oh, I probably did get bad at one stage. I think I was probably doing it nearly 2 or 3 times a week, which was very bad. But generally, it wouldn't have been. It would have been like once a week, or maybe even a couple of times a month. At certain stages as well. So it varied depending on where I was mentally. But for me, the kicker, or the worst part, was that I actually started to get leaner and I started to look good, and that was what sucked, because I got external validation for it. Everyone was like, fuck, you look good, blah blah blah. Like I had abs, I was in really good shape physically from the outside, and it kind of, I was like, it's not okay, but it is okay because it makes me feel good sometimes. And it was this kind of, it's fucked up, but it was just, it fucked with me mentally. And it put me in a position where I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I hated it. But at the same time, I felt like I had to. I was like, I have to look this certain way. I have to look like this. And it fucking, like, it was just, I was trapped in a vicious cycle. So it didn't, it was just a fucking shit time. So I, like, obviously I'm not a medical professional or anything, so if I give advice, don't take it literally. But for me, like, if anyone's out there struggling with that kind of thing, please put in the work to get past it, because it is, on the other side, it's so freeing, and being able to look back on where I was and think, what, like, fucking hell. It's overwhelming when I look back and think where I was and to where I am now. It's incredible. So, like, there's a lot of different topics that are fucking shooting off my head at the moment. So I'm going to try and just work my way through steadily. So I'm going to talk through, like, how it kind of evolved and to the point where I decided to stop. So from the start, it was very steadily evolved, and it very just slowly got worse and worse and worse. So through the time I was training and, like, getting leaner and stuff like that, it became a bit of a, what made it kind of worse was, I remember doing, like, 8-week challenges and with body scans and stuff, and, like, it would, like, that used to suck. I used to fucking hate it, but love it, because, in the week leading into the body scan, I would fucking, like, I wouldn't eat properly. I would do nothing. Like, I would train extra hard. I wouldn't eat enough. And then, like, right before the body scan, the night before, I'd fucking eat a bunch of shit and then just vomit it up, and then, like, wouldn't eat anything else, just drink a bit of water, and then go in the next day and hope for this grouse low body fat scan. And that reward I got when I got that low body fat scan was like, oh, I feel like, yes, I've achieved something. Whereas it wasn't something to be proud of at all. It was, it was fucking bad. So that went on for a bit, and then I was like, I realized I had a fucking bad problem. So I tried to shift my focus more onto the performance side of things. And even then, it just, like, it dragged. I still had problems, and it was like, it was spurred on by stressful situations, and I saw it as, like, a little bit like that say 30 minutes where I was eating whatever the fuck I wanted to with no guilt. Like, that 30 minutes for me was the best. It was like, I was like on top of the world. And then, I'd have to fucking go and throw my guts up for, just as long to try and get rid of it all. And then afterwards I'd feel like absolute rubbish. So it was it was just a fucking bad cycle, bad mental state to be in. And it wasn't until like I had all these goals. I was like, oh yeah, I'd love to, try and qualify for the CrossFit Games and do all these things. And the back of my mind was like, there is no way you can fucking do that with this fucking eating disorder you have. You can't fuel yourself properly. And it was, I even when I did the fucking Spartan Ultra Beast, I remember like that night I fucking threw my guts up, got rid of nearly all my food that I'd loaded up with the day before. And then race day, the first 4 hours of the race were fucked. I thought I was going to die because I had nothing. I was fueled off nothing. I had no energy from the day before. And it took me like a good four hours to get in the groove because I was eating and drinking electrolytes during those 4 hours, and that's what my body was running off. It was bad, man. I'm surprised I even managed to finish that fucking race. So that brings me to what spurred me to kind of stop. It was, I knew, like, I got to June, July in 2019, I was like, I have to fucking stop. I was listening to Simon Hill's Plant Proof podcast, and they were talking about gut microbiome and like how important it is to your overall health and stuff like that. And I was kind of like, fuck, like I haven't treated my gut microbiome good at all because of, I think it was with Will Buritz, his name's confusing. Anyway, I haven't treated my gut well at all, and I was like, I have to start doing it. So I kind of tried to put a bit more focus on eating well and eating the right things. And like at that time I wasn't vegan, but I was still vegetarian. And I started to gain a bit of weight, and I was like, I have to stop looking at myself and thinking, fuck, you're not shredded anymore. That's disappointing, like bad. That's not good. You should be shredded. I was like, I can't look at that anymore. I have to put that at the back of my mind because I want to get myself right. And if I have those thoughts, then I just have to silence them. Sorry, I've got a fucking burp. I just have to fucking silence them because they're not going to help me get to where I want to be. And I did. So I silenced those thoughts, and I was like, just keep eating healthy, whole foods. Keep pushing yourself to the point, like keep pushing yourself to get better because you need to. You're not going back this time. This is it. You're not turning back. And that's kind of what I did. It got to the point where I, started listening to more and more of Simon Hill's podcast, and I was like, all right, I'm going to go vegan. And then I made that jump and went vegan. And then, I haven't looked back since then. Now it's 2021. I'm almost 2 years out of it. I feel fucking great. I'm so proud of myself for how far I've come. And I guess it's rough looking back and thinking of where my mindset was. But I guess it's fucking hard because like I've always wanted to, be jacked and be shredded and stuff like that. But for me, like looking back to how healthy I was when I looked like that, fuck that. I would not, if I never looked like that again, I could not give a fuck. At the moment, I'm happy doing what I'm doing because I'm the fittest, strongest, or not the strongest, but the fittest I've ever been. Like, fuck, I may not look like that, but so what? I could wipe the floor with that cunt. So that's where my head's at the moment, and it's just, I guess it's eye-opening looking back on how far I've come. Another big thing for me in getting better was deciding to do the Ironman, because I was like, if you're going to do an Ironman, you can't fucking do what you've been doing. You can't throw up. You can't, you can't treat your body the way you've treated it. So for me, that was another big thing. I was like, all right, I'll sign up for this fucking massive Ironman and I'll commit to this training because I know this kind of training doesn't allow for you to, not fuel yourself properly. You can't. And I was right. It doesn't allow for that. If I didn't fuel myself properly, I knew about it and I learnt. And to the point now where I probably do eat fucking too much food, but oh well, it's delicious. But yeah, it's fucked. Like I would go out and I wouldn't eat I wouldn't eat a proper meal. I'd hate it. I'd get extreme anxiety if I had to go out somewhere knowing that they didn't really have any good food options. Like, they were all just shit. Like, I wouldn't eat fucking chips. I wouldn't eat anything like that. And it took me a while to try and retrain my brain to think of foods like chips, burgers, that kind of stuff, chocolate. Think of that kind of stuff as a good, healthy food, because in my head, all I associated them with was, binge eating and, I guess, throwing them up. So it wasn't great. And like, even now, I'm starting to move past that. Like, there are a lot of foods that I couldn't look at or couldn't eat or couldn't, smell, because I was like, they just triggered a memory in my brain of me, fucking huddled over the toilet after, smashing a stupid amount of food. So slowly, I've just rebuilt my mindset, rebuilt my relationship with food from the ground up, and I'm proud of where I am now. Like, I've come so far over the past 2 years. It's taken a lot of work, yes, and there's been times where, I felt shit about myself. Like, you can't. I think I was listening to another podcast a while back, a Keep It Cleaner podcast with Steph Claire Smith and Laura Henshaw, and they had someone on talking about eating disorders, and they were like, it never really goes away. And they're right, it doesn't really go away. Like, I still have thoughts of, I look at myself in the mirror and I'll be like, oh, you fatty. But like, I have to just turn around and like shut that thought down, because it's not true, or make a joke about it. But it's like, I recognize that that's not true. Like, I'm not out of shape just because I don't look like I used to. Like, that, for me to look like that is unhealthy. And I just think, like, it takes a lot of work, but you've also got to recognize that it's probably those thoughts aren't probably going to go away. They're going to live with you, and you have to learn to deal with them, and you have to be, I guess, big enough to tell them to shut the fuck up. It's the same principle as, going out and challenging yourself, put yourself in pain. You have to tell those thoughts of pain and quit, to shut the fuck up and just move past them. And that's what I've managed to kind of do. And it's like, yeah, it's crazy. It sucks that I know there are so many people that struggle with this kind of stuff. Like, I've seen a lot of people come out about it over the past year or so, and like, I wanted to sooner, but I was like, oh, nah. I was going to talk about it on my Instagram, but I was like, let me finish my Ironman first, and then I will talk about it in some capacity. I didn't know that it was going to be on a podcast, but I knew that once I finished my Ironman, that's when I was going to talk about it in whatever capacity I was going to talk about it. Oh, sorry, I got to take another drink. Ooh. Yeah. So, kind of lost track. Hey, hang on. Yeah. Sorry. I'm going to talk about this. Yes, okay. So there are a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people come out with struggling with similar issues to me recently, or, recently by being the last like 12, 18 months. And it fucking sucks knowing that there are people out there that are struggling, and I can see it, like a lot of young people too. You can just fucking pick it. You can pick when people struggle with that kind of stuff, and it sucks seeing it and knowing that, like, it sucks seeing people, struggling with the same thing and knowing what it's like to be on the other side. It sucks, man. You feel trapped. You feel horrible. And I hate that it's not like bringing it back. It's society's fault that they've bred into us, or they've smashed into our brains that this is the ideal. This is how you should look. And if you don't look like this, then you're not good enough. And that sucks. Like, I fucking hate that that's the case, because, genetically, some people aren't going to fucking be jacked and have abs. They can be as lean as they want, but they're never going to look as good as the, that gold standard. And for me, I think that's the case. Like, for me to be healthy, I'm not going to have abs. And, well, like, now I don't care. I feel good. I get to eat whatever I want. I get to train when I want. I'm fucking fit. I'm strong. I move well. I feel great. Like, that's all I care about. I feel good, and I can, my body's in good condition. Like that's it. I'm a healthy man, and that's all I can ask for. Whereas back then it was not the case. Like I remember I got a blood test done in like the peak stage, and because I had such a poor fucking diet, like I remember there was a stage there where I was living on like, it would have been like just a scoop of whey protein in low fat yogurt, like a big thing of yogurt, probably like 500 grams of low fat yogurt with a couple of scoops of protein in there and some like fruit. That was my meal. Like I remember I'd almost eat that for dinner a couple of nights a week as well, which is fucking bad. Like that's not a meal. And I got blood tests done, and I had problems with my liver, because I think it was my liver, because of the little granules of the protein. Like my body was struggling to break it all down because I was eating too much of it. I was having too much of it. So like just shit like that. And at the time I'd like just blew it off. I was like, I don't give a fuck. Like this is what I got to do. This is what I'm going to do. And I just look back and I was like, I can't believe how much of a fucking idiot I was, to just, ignore shit like that. Whereas now, I've just got my blood test back. I have no problems at all because I'm free. I've built myself back up. I'm out of that headspace. It fucking sucks. So I hate that that's what society has kind of built. And you can see this generation coming up now, there are a lot of people that are struggling with these issues. And it's fucking eye-opening. It's rough, man. It's rough. And like I feel like the fitness industry is broken in a way too, because of like at the time I love the idea of an 8-week challenge where you do body scans and stuff like that, or a 12-week challenge where you do body scans and you lose weight, and it's good, it's great. Like I get the message behind it is good, but at the same time, like I don't like that, because that's something for me that triggered me and made it worse. And I'm worried that that's going to send the wrong message amongst a lot of people. Like I know a lot of those diets that they put you on when you do these challenges, the calories in them are just fucking ridiculously low and not sustainable. Like what happens, obviously I'm not a professional, but it doesn't take a fucking genius to work this out, is what happens is if you drop your calories from, say your base rate is 2,000. This is not an example of me or anyone, this is just a fucking number, so I can, make an example. Your base, just say you're eating 2,000 calories a day and you're maintaining, right? If you drop to 1,500 or say 1,800 a day and you eat that for however long, say six weeks, right? Your new base rate is now 1,800. So when you bump it up to 2,000, you're going to put on weight. So then you're like, all right, I want to drop more weight. I'm going to drop it to 1,500 calories. Then you eat 1,500 calories for 6 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever. Now, your new rate is 1,500 calories. If you eat any more than that, you're going to put on weight. So what do? You drop it again. And that is wrong. That is not fucking good. That is bad. Like it is, you cannot constantly lose weight, and you cannot survive being super, super lean for a very long time. Like it's not good for your body. It puts your body under immense stress. You listen to any of the big bodybuilders and people like that, like they'll tell you that it's not good. You can't sustain it. You need to build your shit back up. You need to start building your calories back up. You need to build your intake back up, because it's not sustainable and it's not good for your body to be under that much pressure and that much stress with lack of nutrition. So like I feel like the fitness industry is broken in a way that it teaches us, it tells us that that's the way to go. Like you have to do this. Like I guess the cycle of the 8-week challenge is you lose a heap of weight, then you put it all back on, then you lose a heap of weight and you put it all back on. Like that's not fucking good. Why not just promote a healthy lifestyle where you gradually lose weight, you gradually get yourself into a body where you're fucking comfortable, you can do a lot of things, like you're functional fit, like you are fit enough and strong enough to do everyday tasks flawlessly without, having issues with your back and whatnot. You don't have any issues picking stuff up. yet you're still able to function while eating. You can still go out, you can still have, have drinks here and there, like have fucking chips, whatever. Like that's the goal, isn't it? You want to be able to have balance in your life. You don't want to be starving yourself and then, in my case, punishing yourself after you've gone out and enjoyed, a meal that in your head you shouldn't have. It's not good. And that's why I like places like Revel Training. Like we down there, it's not about an 8-week challenge. We do testing. So you test I think it's 12-week training blocks, and you test every 12 weeks. You test like fitness and strength and stuff like that. And then in the training block, you aim to build your strength and build your fitness. And I think that's far better than looking at people's body fat percentage and body weight, because like it differs. So many people are built differently, and some people carry weight better and some people don't carry it. It's hard. You can't, no one has the same genetic makeup. So I just don't know. Maybe it's just because it was something that crushed me a little bit, but yeah, I just don't like the idea, or I don't like the concept of constantly scanning people's body fat percentages and making them try to, I guess, lose weight, lose fat. Because I don't know, it just, for me, it flipped a fucking switch in my head, and then there we go. I was down a very dark path. It took me a while to come back from. So yeah. Anyway, what else? So I feel like that was a lot. I'm going to let that sink in. If you guys have any questions, I'll put a question box up sometime this week. And if you have any questions relating to this topic, then ask them and I'll answer them, please, because it's like, I don't know, it's fucking rough. And if you're struggling with this kind of thing at the moment, reach out, please, because I can offer some advice. I can help. I've been through it. I've been there. I've been on the other side. It sucks, dude. It fucking sucks. You feel trapped. You don't know where to go. But like, in order to get out, yes, you're going to have to go through a phase where it doesn't feel good, because like, for me, I put on a bit of weight and I didn't look as good as I thought I should. I started wearing big baggy t-shirts because I was like, fuck this, I'm going to cover this up. I wasn't fat, but I was, I had more flubber than I did before, which is a good thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing. You got to feel your body. You got to you got to love your body. And that's what I didn't have. And now I do have that. So like, you have to understand that if you want to fight your way out of it, you're going to go through a little phase where it's going to be hard, but on the other side, it's wonderful. Let me tell you, those chocolate covered strawberries are delicious and you deserve every single one of them. I'm probably going to buy some today, to be honest. But yeah, it's fucking rough. So if you have any questions or you want to reach out about it, please let me know. Shoot me a message and I will gladly offer some advice. You've just got to be mindful. You've got to show yourself some self-love, because like the way I looked at it was, I can't sustain this shit for forever. I can't. It's not possible. So it has to stop now. I want to get myself right, and I want to move on, and that's what I did. And thankfully too, it led me to going fully vegan as well, which was wonderful. One of the best decisions I've made. Sorry. Yeah, I can't complain. I can't wait to try this new fucking Kit Kat though. Holy shit, looks good. I'm just going to take another drink. Give me like 2 seconds. Yeah, I can't wait to try this vegan Kit Kat. But it says it's only in metropolitan fucking Safeways, which is a pain in the ass. Oh, stretchy. Oh, I'm recording this on Saturday because Caitlin's getting her hair done, and I'd finished my ride, and I was like, how long is it going to take? And when girls get their hair done, it takes ages. So I was like, well, I'm going to record my podcast on Saturday, and that way I don't have to do it Sunday. So here we are, which is probably why I forgot to put the question box up and do all that kind of jazz. So anyway, not important. So yes, I'm going to try not to talk about that for the rest of the podcast. I feel like that's enough information for the day. If you have any questions, ask me. If you want help or you need any advice, ask me and I will help you. that's like everyone's got their shit. Everyone's dealt with their own shit, and that is my bag of shit. Like everyone has their own little thing that they've gone through that has made them who they are, and for me, it was that. I battled, like I struggled in silence. Like I would love to know if anyone knew or suspected that, but yeah, because I thought I did a pretty good job of fucking keeping it a secret, but I'd wonder if anyone actually fucking knew and just, I guess, was like, fuck, poor cunt, and just looking at me in despair, sadness, I don't know. But yeah, I feel like I did a pretty good job of keeping it fucking under wraps. It was rough too, because I said I wasn't going to talk about it anymore, but I'm gonna. Yeah, it was, the worst part was, because I had my Instagram account too, and I was like, it fucking sucked. I was putting out just bullshit. Like, that's why I look back on all those things, and I see, like, I'm proud of the things that I've achieved, but at the same time, I look back at who I was when I was achieving them, and it's like, it takes credit away from it. Like, the time I wore a weight vest for a week. Like, I was fucked up. Fucked up mentally with this eating disorder then. So to me, I see that weight vest week as like, nah, you were fucked. Doesn't count. So that sucks. I got to try and deal with that shit too. I got to try and become, I got to try and accept the fact that that's who I was, but I've still achieved some cool stuff. Like even the Spartan race, I look back at that now and it's like, you were struggling big time then, bro. And it kind of taints the accolade in a way, I suppose. But you know what? I've moved past it, and I'm so proud of that. And like Caitlin's been massive too. She helped me humongously in the early days. Like she is the only person who knows at this current stage right now, because this is being recorded at my, with me. No one else is here. It's just me. So I did tell her early days. I think we started going out October in 19. So I probably told her before Christmas. So she knew early on, and she helped me massively. Like, she's always making sure I'm eating enough. When I was stressing out a bit with the Ironman and with the shit that's been going on recently, she was on my back about eating properly, because she knows that that's something that comes up when I get a bit stressed. So I'm very grateful that she's been looking after me. So it's like, I guess if I was to define it, it'd be bulimia, but there's also a bit of body dysmorphia in there as well that I'm getting over. I'm moving past. I didn't fuel myself properly for so long, and then once I started fueling myself properly, it's fucking game changing, man. You don't realize how insanely good food is. I noticed it this morning while riding. I didn't eat. No, not this morning. Last week, sorry. While riding, I bonked. I didn't eat enough on the bike, and I fucking bonked out. I had 4 bananas, dude, and I fucking bonked. I needed to have 6. It's like, I need to have a gel. It's crazy. You don't realize until I didn't realize before that I needed to fuel with this stuff, and I was neglecting it all, and it was all demonized for me, by everyone, not just like no one specifically, but just by, I guess, society again. Society's a fucking a shit bloke. Just everything gets demonized, as unhealthy and this and that. But it's like, yeah, some things are unhealthy, but at the same time, they're not unhealthy if you eat them once, every now and then. Like if you have them every fucking day, then yeah, alright, probably unhealthy. But if you're having them once every fucking month, or once every couple of weeks, it's not that bad, eh? It's all balance, bro. It's all about balance, and that's something that I've learnt. Everything in balance. And something that did help me was I tried to stick to the formula of, alright, during the week, I'll eat whole food, plant-based, and then during the weekends, I will eat whatever disgusting treat I want. And that's kind of what I did for a while there. But now it's like, I'm at the point where I just kind of eat what I want. Like if I feel like during the week, if I feel like I need a little treat or a little something, I'll have it, because so what? I feel like it, I'll eat it. It's not a big issue. Anyway, Yeah, so any questions or anything, just fucking reach out. I'm here to help. I don't have any medical experience in this, but I have gone through it. I've been in the thick of it, and I've dealt with it for, well, it was like 5 years, so I know a little something. Alright, I'm going to ask myself some questions. I shouldn't ask, I'm not going to ask myself about that. I'll ask myself some shit about some other stuff. So Anthony, how long has it been since you've become a vegan? Well, when did I first go vegan? I've got it written down somewhere. I've got it written in my notes somewhere because it was a very important time for me. I think it was September. September 19, I think. But I don't know where it's gone. It's like it's disappeared. Here we go. Went vegan. September 2019. So, it's almost, what's that? Almost 2 years. Damn, dude. It's a long time. Yeah, since then, it's just like at first, I was so nervous to go to make the flick. I'll probably do a full podcast on it at some stage. But yeah, I was so nervous to make the switch. It was very, very confronting going fully vegan, even though I was going from vegetarian. So it wasn't that big of a jump, but it was still confronting because I used to eat eggs were one of my staple. And then I was like, I don't think I can get rid of them. I don't think I can do it. And then I made a banana bread without eggs, and I was like, damn, this is pretty delicious. All right, eggs are gone. And then I was vegan. Whoa. I remember I went 1 week without eggs. I went like 5 days without eggs, and I was like, fuck, may as well just keep going. And then, yeah, here we are 2 years later. I haven't had an egg since, not regretting a single moment of it. Yeah, but it starts off hard, and then you realise how many fucking, especially nowadays too, like I have so much respect for the OG vegans that were vegan like 15 years ago, coming up with, fuck all vegan foods. They just had to find shit that worked. Whereas nowadays, there's so many things that are vegan. And I feel like there are a lot of companies too that are just taking milk solids out of the products. Because a lot of products will just literally just have milk solids as the only thing in them that are causing them to not be vegan, which is ridiculous. Because why the fuck would you put milk solids? It's like a lot of chips. A lot of chips have milk solids in them. It's for fucking what? Add a bit of volume. It's ridiculous. I remember there was like roast chickpeas once that Caitlin had, and she's like, these got to be vegan. And I was like, I don't know, we'll have a look just to see, make sure. And they had milk solids in them. We were both just like, what the fuck? Roast chickpeas with milk solids is fucking ridiculous. But yeah, so if you're looking to make the switch, be patient. You don't have to fucking rush it. Just easy, and you will slowly realize how many options there are and how many different food choices there are. Like a good example I heard on, it would have been Plant Proof's podcast. That was a good yawn. Fuck, I might have a nap. Another good example from his podcast was, he was like, how many fruits and vegetables are there? There was like this infinite fruits and vegetables, whereas there's a limited amount of meat that is available for consumption. So you're not spoiled. You are spoiled for choice. You have so many fucking choices. It's ridiculous. So yeah. All right. What is another question? So Anthony, what shoes do you like to run in? Yeah, just running stuff. Thanks. All right. So the shoes I like to run in at the moment are, I actually got given them as a promotional thingo for Rebel Sport through Nike Running. They're the Epic Reacts. And I was like, at first I was like, because you got to put up a couple of photos and whatnot, and do a little bit of a blurb about them. And I was like, okay, I went for one run in them. I took some photos, but it was a run off the bike, and the photos were all fucked because I was just cooked. Like, I don't think I drank enough water that day, typical. And I was just, the photos were ridiculously shit because I just wanted to rush. Anyway, the shoes are great. they are absolutely amazing. So I have been running in them since, it's probably like, I can't remember. It's a long time. I've put 700 Ks on that first pair of Nike Reacts, Infinity Reacts. I've put 600, it's like 700 Ks on them. So in a couple of months, in probably like, I don't know, probably since the start of the year. So they're my absolute favorites at the moment, and then so much so that I actually asked them if they could send me another pair before my Ironman, and thankfully they did. So I did my race in those. I actually ran my Ironman in them. But I am looking for a different pair because I feel like although they are great, I feel like I can do better. So I don't know. I need to go and actually get my feet. I need to get my feet examined because although these are great, they're great fast shoes. But I did have hotspot problems with my feet during the race, and the toe box is quite big on these. But I don't know. I feel like I need to try a different pair, try something else. It can't hurt. It can only, maybe the next shoe will be better. Like I was hesitant once I found, because I used to run in the Hockers, I think the Clifton Sixes, and they were amazing. I loved them. They're my favorite running shoes. And then I was hesitant to try any other shoes until I found the Reacts, and then I got in them and I was like, oh fuck, these are sick. They are so fast. Because I think why I was so hesitant was because of the whole stigma or negative around the heel lift, and like how it shortens your Achilles and it's not good for your feet and stuff like that. And I was like, nah, can't have any heel lift, not allowed, forget it, have to run in like zero shoes. And then Hockers were like a 0 mil, don't have any heel lift. And I was like, I'm going to run in these because they got 0 mil. But the reality is, if like I spend 90% of my days in flat shoes, I've been wearing my Vivos every fucking day, the new ones I got, and holy shit, they are amazing. I'm so happy with them. I did have a pair like last year. I bought a pair and they were too big and they just flopped around. I didn't like them, but these ones, I'm going to be getting another pair. They're amazing. I wear them every single day. I love them, and they're serving the purpose I got them for, which is great. Anyway, I think I was like, nah, I got to wear flat shoes only. And then I tried these and I ran in these, and I was talking to James, and it was like, if you're racing in, shoes with a bit of a heel lift, they'll push you along. They'll help you run quicker. And I was like, I suppose you're right. So I've shifted my attitude around them, to the point where I'm happy to run in shoes with a bit of a heel lift now. So I just got to try and find a good pair, a good set, I should say. What? Anything else on the shoes? No, I've not got nothing. I just, comfy. The only thing is they're so expensive. I've never run in carbons either. I would like to try a pair of carbons. I don't know what brand, but I'd like to try some carbons. Sorry, I was taking another drink. Does anyone else have any questions for me? I know it's been a long emotional podcast, but does anyone else have any questions they want to ask me?
I do. So what socks do you wear?
Seems like a bit of a weird question, buddy.
Nah, but what socks do you wear when you exercise?
Well, I suppose you knowing what socks I wear is not that weird. So great. Thankfully, I don't actually know the brand of the socks, but they're like M20 or MO2s, something like that, or M02, and they're like compression socks. So they are amazing, and Stygian socks. So the compression socks I usually wear when I'm riding, and running too, I suppose. It's just, they're so nice because the way they work is they relieve pressure on certain areas of your foot. Like you put the sock on and it just it compresses certain areas and relieves pressure off other areas. And I fucking love them. So they're my new favorites. I'll run and ride in them whenever they're available. I've only got 3 pairs because they're hard to fucking find. And then I've got a good pair of 2XU socks, which are the same, like compression. They're my favorite. And then I've got a couple of pairs of Stygian socks, which I like to train into. They're really comfy, like real comfy, one like no seams, so you're not going to get any blistering or anything like that. And they're wonderful. I don't really run in. I do have Injinji toe socks. I don't really run in them or do anything in them though. I wear them, to work and stuff like that, but I don't train in them. I prefer nice, full socks. I don't like in between my toes. It freaks me out a little bit when I'm running. And in terms of when I'm training, like strength stuff, I'll wear whatever's available and whatever looks most ridiculous. Yeah, yesterday I opted for bright red with my multicolored Reebok Nanos. So, whatever suits, I suppose. I'm just going to take another drink because I'm thirsty. Oh, and I'm back. What else did I have to say? Oh, fucking hell. So, before recording this, I had to deal with little Axel. He was following me around. I was feeding him bits of my apple. And he was just following me around like a bad smell. And I was like, bro, I gotta leave you. Like, I'm gonna have to go and record my podcast. I can't have you follow me around. And I put him in the house and shut the door, and he was looking at me through the little window. And then I started walking away, and he just followed me and just kept changing windows to get a better look at me as I was leaving. And I felt so bad for the little lad. So as soon as I finish this, I'm going to go over there and just, rough him up a bit, give him a bit of love. He's, I feel bad for the older one, Hudson. He just fucking cops it endlessly because Axel's in that age where I was actually wrong too. I think he's 6 months old, not even. So he's a very young lad. He's born in January? So what's that? Fuck. Yeah, 7 months. So he's a fucking psycho, man. He's still young and he just beats Hudson up all the time. I've got so many videos of him. It's fucking hilarious. Anyway, I'll go give him some love once I'm done here. Yesterday morning, I was training in the gym. It was fucking 4:30 or something. And Hudson was out chasing kangaroos, and I went out and I was like, "What are you doing, mate?" And he was all happy. He was all happy by himself, just enjoying the wilderness. So I think he puts up with Axel, but he also loves his alone time. So I'll go and take Axel off his hands. Might even take him for a bit of a walk this afternoon, because the weather's all right outside. Melbourne's actually brought us a game aside from the fucking winds. It's pretty nice out there. It's very nice, actually. I'm trying to think, did I listen to any other cool podcasts this week? I listened to so many podcasts. Holy shit. I started watching Dave. If you've got Binge, watch it. It's pretty funny. I've already ripped through a full season, I think. I started watching it because it's got the comedian Andrew Santino in it, and he's hilarious from the Bad Friends podcast. So, sorry for yawning again. So I started watching because of him, and it's actually quite funny. They have so many cameos of different people. It's ridiculous. Every episode, they have a different famous person, which is, it surprises the shit out of you, You're sitting there, and then all of a sudden Justin Bieber's on. You're like, what the fuck? Where did this guy come from? But yeah, it's a good show. Would recommend out of 10. What else? I'm keen to go to the movies and watch fucking Suicide Squad. Hey, I was gonna go watch this weekend. It doesn't come out till the 5th, so I was a little bit annoyed about that. I still haven't seen Fast and Furious either, which is I want to see that too. There's so many movies I want to go watch, just not enough time. Well, fun fact: popcorn at the movies is vegan, so. If you go to Hoyt's and you want popcorn and you're vegan, you can eat all of it. It's amazing. Does anyone else have any questions? Anyone? Sir, what do you use to track your exercise, and do you monitor your heart rate? Yes, ma'am, I do monitor my heart rate. I have a Garmin Fenix 6 6X plus whatever. I don't know. It's just the most complicated. It's a Sapphire and it's Garmin Fenix 6. And yes, I use a heart rate strap, HRM Tri, to monitor my heart rate. Because it's valuable data. Oh my god. Oh, ginger fuck. It sounded like I said ginger fuck. It's valuable data to have your heart rate, and I feel like the chest strap just does it the most accurately out of anything. Like, the Whoop is pretty fucking good in terms of getting it from your wrist, but nothing beats a chest strap. So yeah, I use my Garmin to monitor everything, but all my exercise, and then for my coach, that all gets uploaded into Training Peaks so she can see all the stats too. And then in terms of my Whoop, I just wear that mainly for recovery, and to monitor, to make sure it's really just for recovery. Like, the strain's one thing, but I'm not really concerned about the strain on my Whoop. It's more so my recovery protocols, like how my sleep's going, what improves my recovery. So it'll be interesting to see how this magnesium stuff impacts my recovery. But yeah, I use my Whoop for recovery, and I use my Garmin for what expenditure or what output I do when I exercise. And anyone else got any more questions? Yeah, so what do you use for your when you do your trainer sets? Well, so this is actually a funny story. I'm going to take a drink of water first before I start to tell you the story. We're back. So I ordered a Tax Neo T2 at the start of 2020 in April, because I wanted a trainer. Like, I used to have a trainer that you'd put your wheel on, and I fucked up a couple of times. I didn't do it up tight enough, and what would happen is, like, if you don't do the trainer up tight enough and you're pedaling and slow, like, as it heats up, it just melted the fuck out of a couple of my tires, and it was so annoying. And then I'd get flats on it because I couldn't change wheels properly. It was just a fucking disaster. I was like, fuck this. I'm going to buy a good trainer where you put the chain around and you know, it gives you resistance, and it can actually give you, like, assist you as well when you're going down hills. So I actually do it. Oh gosh, I do it all on a Tax Neo trainer, and it's fucking wonderful. I have no complaints. I remember, so I ordered it in April 2020. I didn't get it till December of 2020. So I was pretty mad when I got it, and I was like, I'm gonna fucking, because Tax got bought out by Garmin, and there was a bit of there were some teething issues, which is why it took so long. So I was like, I'm gonna fucking rip them apart. I'm gonna, hate sending all this hate mail and stuff. As soon as I got my trainer and jumped on it, I was like, cool. And then never said a word ever since. So I'm very happy with that. That does the job perfectly. I cannot complain at all with the smart trainer. It's just super. Like, the trainer sets are hard. I don't know if anyone's, like, I'm sure you have done stationary bike stuff before. It's quite difficult. And a minute feels like an hour. And when it's harder, it is easier because you're concentrating on something else. So for me, oh my god, if I have 90 minute free easy ride on the trainer, I fucking hate it. Whereas if I have, like, 90 minutes of intervals, it's so much better. Like, 90 minutes of hard intervals, like, it might be a 20-minute warm-up, then some big 10-minute blocks, and then some shorter, like, then it might go from 10 minutes down to 5. Like, so I might have 3 10-minute blocks, then I might have a couple of 5-minute blocks, and I might have a couple of 2-minute blocks to just blow my legs out. Like, that kind of stuff is way better than 90 minutes of flat riding, like straight boring, same pace riding. That sucks. Because you think about it, you never really ride for that. You're never going to go for a ride where you're riding the same pace the entire time. It doesn't really happen that often. Like, when you're outside, you're riding up and down hills, going around corners, might get traffic lights here and there. So you're constantly stopping and starting. So it's very rare that you're actually in a situation where you're going to be riding with no change in anything, no change in any variables for the whole ride. So that is why I don't like just fucking cruising for 90 minutes. I'm I'm keen to get back into swimming this week though. Fucking hell, like so my swim was really good. I enjoyed it. I did what did I do? 2.2k. I wasn't supposed to swim at all, so I was like, I'll do a little bit. I felt so much slower. It's amazing how quickly you lose your swim fitness. So I've got a bit of work to do to build that back up. But thankfully, I know what it's like, considering we were here. In Victoria, we've been through this multiple times. So, I know what I got to do. I know I just got to put in the work, and it'll be happy days. So yeah. Does anyone else have any questions?
So, sir, what are you gonna do when you finish with this podcast?
Well, so what I plan on doing today is I'm gonna save it, maybe edit it so that the sound is good quality for you guys when you listen, and then I'll finish drinking my water because I got a little bit left. I haven't had enough today. I'll pack up and then I'll probably go to the shops and buy some fucking chocolate-coated strawberries because that's all I've been thinking about since I mentioned them. Come to think of it, yeah, I'm going to go do that. I'm going to go buy some chocolate-coated strawberries. I'm going to buy some for Caitlin too. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please let me know. Please give me some feedback. I think we've cracked 210 downloads so far. Woo! Yeah, claps all round. So... yeah, if you have any questions, ask me. If you need guidance or want to reach out to someone, reach out to me. I can help you. I can give you, some advice or talk you through some shit. Please share this podcast, comment, subscribe. I don't really have anything to subscribe to, but comment, show me some love, share it with your mates, and I will talk to you next week. Hopefully I'll remember to actually fucking put a question box out so that I can answer some of your questions rather than these strange fans that keep following me around wherever I go. Anyway, hope you guys have a fucking ripper weekend. Lots of love from your boy. This has been another wonderful episode of the Toe on the Line podcast with your fantastic host, Anthony. I'm going to try and get this to an hour and 12 minutes. Good luck.